Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I start the presentation, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Zidan Pasha with student identification number 21170510770 from C class. Today, I will present about the aurora. Definition: an aurora, also known as the polar light, is an unnatural light display in Earth's sky. Auroras display dynamic patterns of brilliant light that appear as serpents, rays, spirals, or dynamic flickers covering the entire sky. Type of aurora. There are two types of aurora. There are aurora borealis and aurora australis. First, aurora borealis. Aurora borealis is a type of aurora that occurs in the northern sky of the Earth. The origin of the name Aurora Borealis is taken from the name of the dawn goddess from Rome, namely Aurora, and the word northern wine from the Greek name Boreas. The appearance of the Aurora Borealis generally occurs in September to October and March to April. The area that can see the Aurora Borealis is in Canada, Alaska, Russia, and the Scandinavian countries. Last, Aurora Australis. Aurora australis is an aurora phenomenon that occurs in the southern sky of the Earth. Its characteristics are similar to the aurora borealis. The name Australis is taken from the name of the continent of Australis, which is in the southern hemisphere. Causes of aurora. First, a quiescent solar wind flowing past Earth's magnetosphere steadily interacts with it and can both inject solar wind particles directly onto the geomagnetic field lines that are open, as opposed to being closed in the opposite hemisphere and provide diffusion through the bow shock. Second, the magnetic field of a planet, in this case, mean Earth. Third, geomagnetic disturbance from an enhanced solar wind causes distortion of the magnetotail. Fourth, acceleration of auroral charged particles invariably accompanies a magnetosphere disturbance that causes an aurora. This mechanism, which is believed to predominantly arise from strong electric fields along the magnetic field or wave-particle interaction, raise the velocity of a particle in the direction of the guiding magnetic field. How do auroras happen? Auroras can be formed when atoms or molecules collide with charged particles from the sun. The particles are thrown at a speed of more than 500 miles per second and are sucked in by the Earth's magnetic field around the north and south poles to create a collision. Collision produces beautiful colors on the aurora. For example, the green aurora is formed from the collision of electron particles with nitrogen molecules. Impact of the aurora. First, destroy the satellite. The layer of electrons carried by the solar wind will hit the magnetosphere and other objects around the Earth's atmosphere, including satellites. In 1994, two Canadian communication satellites crashed due to collision with electron particles from the solar wind. Second, interfering with GPS. The occurrence of aurora can affect the frequency and performance of the GPS system. Electron collision will cause GPS interference, like what happened to WAAS, a company from the United States that experienced problems for 30 hours. Hot plasma. Research conducted by Dr. Roberts from the University of Southampton in his hypothesis states that two lobes of particles in the always cold layer of the Earth magnetosphere will become hot when exposed to the effects of the aurora. Fourth, disrupt telecommunication network. Communication networks that use frequency-based electronic signals such as radio, television, and the internet will be disrupted due to this phenomenon. When an aurora occurs, the atmosphere will open so that the telecommunication electromagnetic wave that should be reflected back to the Earth will go out into space. 5. Disrupt electric. The electrical network on Earth will be disrupted if the aurora light phenomenon appears. There was a report from Canada on 13 March 1989 that a solar storm caused excessive induced currents so that several transformers caught fire and extinguished electrical energy sources in the Quebec area, Canada for 9 hours. That's all I can say. I'm sorry if there are mistakes or misspellings. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.